Hey everybody, it's Brandon from the Arcade City. We're here with James today from the site, and we're going to be talking
Yep.
games. So, what's
Yep.
up,
Yep.
James?
How's it going, Brandon?
Good. You got
Good. Good.
this lucky guy got his hands on the new Xbox One and the PS4. So we're going to start with talking about that stuff. How are they mashing up so far? I know you just got the
Uh,
Xbox.
so far, I had a week with the PlayStation 4, so it's pretty good. I like it. I like the layout and everything else like that. I'm probably gonna go over the pros and cons first of the PlayStation 4. Um, but it's they're both new. Just getting ready to use them, getting used to using them and everything else like that. But like I said, I had a week with the PlayStation 4, so I'm kind of better, more familiar with that one.
What do
They're
you,
stacking up pretty good. There noticed some differences in graphics, uh, like Battlefield 4. There's like minor differences. Probably gonna get flamed for saying that, but it don't matter. And also with NBA 2K14, just like slight graphic differences. But
what do you
I
like
don't know.
about the
They're both
PlayStation?
about the PlayStation.
Yeah, what do you like about it so far that's like maybe really blown you away, or maybe you just like it's a little tweak on it that
The
makes
user
things a little bit
interface
better?
is just awesome. Like I like the user interface. A lot of people I say don't. A lot of people I know do not like it, but I'm in love with it. Like it's real simple. It's just two bars. You have your bar with the store, friends, your notifications, and then you have the bar with all your games on it. That's all you really need. So when I want to play a game, I just either if I have my camera cut on, I just say PlayStation NBA 2K14 start, or I just scroll over to it. But it's just two bars. It's just really, really easy.
So you don't have all those
It's not
extra
clut.
panels that Xbox, well, 360 had. I'm not sure what the one has because I haven't seen
Oh
it
yeah,
yet,
the
but
one.
yeah, you got.
Yeah,
I mean, you had like
it's not
four
like
or five different pages.
it's not like Windows. It's not like what's that Windows 8?
Yeah,
That's pretty much all it is. All the Xbox and the Xbox One and the 360 is pretty much just like the Windows 8 setup where got those little bars and you click on them and you do whatever you want to do. But yeah, the PlayStation is just real simple. If I want to play a game, I can go through here and do that. Also, they have what is it like? It's like a what's hot or what's new. I forget what it's called. Where
hmm
you can see what all your friends and everything doing. So it's kind of like it's it's squared out like that. It's a little bit cluttered, but I only got like 8 friends total on what is it? PlayStation 4. Well, PlayStation Network period. So mine's not that cluttered, but I can see how you have tons of people on there and then it gets all cluttered. But I see what all my friends are doing. I see when they're online. Um, I see what trophies they got. I see what I don't have, stuff like that. But when I be playing PlayStation, I really don't pay attention to the trophies or anything.
yeah. And you're saying the new, would you say it was called Snap? Is pretty nice. Is
Yeah,
it
on the
Snap
Xbox
or?
One, the snap feature is pretty good. I like that. That's the main reason why I started really liking, or started really wanting the Xbox One because I was like, well, big football fan. It was like it integrated with football. That's the main thing they showed it with. So I was like, all right, well, let's get that and try that out. What I tried it out today with was it had Skype and it was Skype and I was playing I think Killer Instinct. Excuse me.
hmm
But yeah, I was had Skype and Killer Instinct going on. It's pretty cool. It's like seamless. On the one side you see your game, and on the other side you see Skype. So it's pretty cool. It's something new. It might be nichey right now where you can multitask on a console, but it's a really good feature. One thing I didn't like about the Xbox so far is that there's no storage management that I can see. Everything I think is done cloud wise,
Okay.
but the game lineup pretty good. I got Battlefield 4 for it because of I got like 29 friends on there, and then what else I got? Rise, which looks like it's gonna be a really good game. It's that Roman game
hmm
where you're fighting a Roman Empire and stuff like that. And then I got Dead Rise just because that looks fun. Open
Yeah.
world game, killing zombies all day. So I'm gonna get into those all this week coming up, and then probably start getting some videos out on everything. So
What So you have 3 games for the Xbox One, and then what came with the PlayStation 4?
What I got with the PlayStation 4? PlayStation 4, I got about what? Warframe was free. Blacklight Retribution was free. Contrast, which just came out, was free because I got PlayStation Plus.
Mm,
Um, and I want to say there's one more game, but I could be wrong. Oh, Playroom. That's the one that works with the camera.
okay.
Um, that's free. That came with the system, and I bought Knack Killzone. What else I got? What's the third game I got? NBA 2K. That's what I got.
And how
Yeah, I
did
got that on the PlayStation 4.
did you play Knack and Killzone yet?
Knack, no, because I just found out like 2 days ago that I could do co-op, so that's probably going to be a series that I do with my wife after we finish up Guacamelee, and then Killzone. I just jumped in and did like a regular multiplayer match, which is pretty cool. Standard first-person shooter stuff. You run around, looks beautiful. It's like we were talking about earlier. You start looking at stuff, and the next thing you know, you wonder why you're getting killed, and you run back over there to go see what happened.
Yeah.
But that game is really really good looking. As far as like gameplay and stuff like that, I haven't played the first two. I played them, but I didn't get too far into them. So I just went in, just shot like a couple people. I think I
Since we're
did like
met,
what?
since we're
Yeah.
mentioning that
Uh,
you do videos and everything, we should
yep.
actually tell people where they can find you.
Oh.
You do walkthroughs and everything. You're starting to do a couple unboxings. I know we talked
Yep.
about doing a couple reviews and stuff like that, whether that be on camera or whatever. But you can find James at A Different Nerd on YouTube. Check out his videos. I think the newest one you were doing that I knew was the Batman Origins game.
Yep. Batman
Um,
Arkham Origins.
and you just stopped that obviously because you got the new systems.
Yeah. Had to get.
And
Mhm.
he also does what's the one that you do with your wife?
It's Mr. and Mrs. Let's Play.
Okay.
Yeah, my
And
channel is pretty much. It's going to be. I wanted to be the whole thing. I wanted to do reviews. I want to do, uh, you know, previews of games, first impressions, walkthroughs, tips and tricks, and everything else like that. But right now, I'm a one-man show. So it's kind of difficult. But
yeah,
I can get the Let's Plays out real quick, just like Batman. It's just me BSing with the microphone while I'm playing games. This is pretty much exactly what's going on when I'm playing games. Like, if I didn't have a phone in front of me, I'll probably be just saying majority of stuff to my wife. Just
yeah,
talking to her while I'm playing a game. Like, did you see that? Like, how is he going to glitch through the wall, hit me, and then I can't get back to him? Stuff like that. So
and
it's
one thing,
just me playing.
yeah, one thing I like that I don't know if you're planning on doing it, if you're going to do it, but we've actually talked about it for the site. Is I think we're going to go back and we're going to review some older games too. I know you're playing, like I said, the Batman game. In one of the other reviews, or in one of the first playthroughs, you said that you were possibly going to go back and play the previous two. Um, just to have the full series out. Um, so I'm thinking that some of us from the site are gamers. That's brought James in because that was his big thing. So we all just kind of come in as a collective, and maybe we're just going to start knocking out a bunch of stuff as soon as everybody can get recording what they're doing, whether it be old Nintendo games, old Sega games, PlayStation games, whatever somebody's favorite game is. Uh, you know, Tips and tricks if people even play them anymore. I know I revisit my old Nintendo system, which
Mhm.
I actually am looking at because it sits under my computer, um, like right in a little cubby. It's kind of like a little memory lane. I pull that out at least once a year and run through, the first Mario game, some Mega Man games, Contra. A lot of people use emulators for that, but I mean, I still have the system and it works, so I might as well use it. But
Yeah.
I think through the site we're going to see a lot more video reviews. James will do the more uh, recent stuff because we're not all caught up on the systems right now. And some of us do a lot of PC gaming too. So, I mean, it's something to look for. But definitely go over to his YouTube channel, click on it, subscribe, check it out, leave some
Yeah,
comments or
yeah. Leave
leave some
comments. I don't
comments if they're
care.
positive.
Positive, bad, I really don't care because I'm gonna keep doing them no matter what because it's fun, it's a hobby, and it's like it brought me together with you guys, and it's just something that I like doing. Like it's fun. Like I like playing games and giving my thoughts on them while I'm playing them.
Yeah,
Because if you look at my Need for Speed The Run series, there's a whole video of me like uh, pretty much just failing the whole time, just trying to get this one, just trying to do this double hairpin. Like I'm struggling like so. Like I had two whole videos on that. I think I said I was going to put it in the extras. Like once I get all the rest of the videos up, because that series is done. Like I'm definitely going to get that out. Um, it's oh my gosh, it's like games just get me so frustrated, but I just love playing them.
yeah,
It's like I was talking to my friend yesterday. He was like, oh, I'm about to trade in all my systems. I was like, you're stupid for trading in all your systems. Like, what are you going to go back to when you get mad at your Xbox One or you get mad at your PS4? He was like, I don't need them. I'm not going to play them no more. I was like, the one system that I'm really, really, really upset that I got rid of, and it really didn't even get rid of it. It got stolen actually. Was my GameCube system. I love that system to death. Yeah, it had like a small stupid disc, and it was a square, but the games on there were so fun. Me and my wife had so much fun playing that console,
yeah.
like
I think
all
the
the
only
time.
game I only played two games on that system. Yeah, I never owned
Mm.
it. I
Yep.
think I skipped over it. Yeah, that's one of the ones I did skip over. I played Luigi's Mansion or something like that. It was called,
Yep, dope game.
and the other one was the Zelda game.
Smash, Smash Brothers.
Uh,
Mario Party.
uh, what was that? The Wind Waker, I think,
Yeah,
for
Zelda.
Zelda. I think it was Wind
Yeah,
Waker for that. Yeah, I actually
yeah,
borrowed someone's system so I could. I am a big Zelda freak fan, and I had to borrow a system just so I could play that game.
yeah.
I
I would think that was the last Zelda I played. I have the two that came out for what is it? Wii now?
Yeah,
Wii or Wii U?
yeah,
I have those two, but I just haven't played them because had the 360, I had the PlayStation 3, had a lot of stuff going on with there, and then we will play the Wii, like we'll automatically go into Wii Sports and just start playing that. So like, but yeah, it's another pet peeve of mine is like you might hear it is I can't play games out of chronological order unless they come out like that and I buy them. Like I bought what is that? Let's go back to the Batman. Like I went out, I bought the first Batman, which was Arkham City, not Arkham City,
Arkham
Arkham
Asylum.
Asylum. Yeah, I went out and bought that one, and then Arkham City came out, and then I ended up playing that one, and then that one, and then Arkham Origins came out. Like that's the only way I will play games out of chronological order. Like, but if you ever see me play a game, I have to play them in order. It's just I have to go from beginning to end. Like I can't start with number two, then play number three, and then go back to like number one. Like Mass Effect. Like I love that game. I'm mad that I didn't play it the first time around. Like I played it like I ended it actually a week before Mass Effect 2 came out. Because I was like, why am I so hyped about Mass Effect? And I went back, did some research, looked at it, and I was like, oh, this game is great. And then I played it, and I ended it like 3 times in about a month. And then next thing you know, I was like, all right, this is the character, this is my build I want. I'm taking him into the next game. And then I took him into the next game, and I did a couple things wrong. And I was like, I got to go back and play that again. So I might do that one, but that's a long because I do everything. Like I have to do it everything. I have to do it perfectly. I gotta be good first, and then I gotta go through and be a butthead the second time around. So
So I'm guessing
I got
you're not a big Skyrim guy,
yeah, I'm a big Skyrim guy. I still
are
haven't
you?
ended it. Like I get to
Yeah.
the same part every single time. Like I do the Thieves Guild, I do the Dark Brotherhood, and then I start going back to the like. I think if I load up Skyrim now, I will be going to fight the first dragon with the it's the mission right after the what else I gotta say? What can I say? What is it? Um, the dragon where you got run all the way over with that girl. I forget her name, but that's where I'm at now again. So yeah, if I
Yeah.
load it up, I'm there. And that's where I always end up stopping because I do all the other side missions first. Like I try to do the what's the you played it right?
Yeah, I actually played it twice. I got to level 40, a level 40, and I was moving my profile onto a thumbstick, and the thumbstick broke, so I lost
Uh,
everything, and I had to start all over. Um, so I started all over, and I think uh, I'm in the 40s somewhere. I don't think I'm up. Yeah, I might be like right around 48 or something like that, level 48. But I actually finished the game, like the main storyline. I finished that pretty early on. I was like level 25 or something like that. Um, and now it's just wandering around doing everything. Like I'm in the Dark Brotherhood, and it's pretty much the same mission over and over and over again. So my guess is that that's done. It's just going to keep going on like that. And there's a couple other things that I had to go back and redo that I didn't do from the first time. Like I had to go back and do the Nightingale series again
yeah,
because I
I did
I
the
I didn't do that my second time around yet. So I just got into it again. I just actually that might have been one of the last things I finished. I haven't played it in about a month or month and a half. Just because when I get in there, I get so into it, I'm lost. And we're going to talk about it a little bit later, but the Elder Scrolls Online is coming out. Um,
yeah.
so, I mean, that's just another thing that I got to gear up for, along with everything else. I mean, um, we I just got a whole bunch of Humble Bundle games
Okay.
not too long ago. Through Steam, so I got a whole bunch of that. I got uh, I finally got Lego Batman, which actually came with a set of Legos, um, and that came for free through again Steam. I've been doing a lot more computer gaming, um, so we kind of talked about it a little bit, and I think we'll probably talk about it again, just because I've been rallying the troops about my new idea for Microsoft and what they should do with their next console, which is going to be about 5 or 6 years away, I'm guessing. Um,
15.
or
This,
if they want to
these
push a new
seasons
one
I
out
hold
next
for
year, everyone will
15.
buy it. It'll just be like
Yeah.
phones at that point. Oh yeah, the new system's coming out this year. Oh, I'll wait until next year. Um,
Yeah, it's either I think it's gonna be actually gonna be 7 to 10 with these because they're pretty good. And with the tail end of the PlayStation 3, you saw how good games can be. Because with The Last of Us, Beyond Two Souls, and even way before that, Heavy Rain, like
hmm
those three games right there they can just put those in a box and sell them again full price on PlayStation 4 or Xbox or whatever, and they will sell again. Because they were originally, they're PlayStation 3 games, but they already had the PlayStation 4 graphics. You know
yeah,
what I mean? So it's like Sony was on their way with letting the developers do what they want to do, pushing the envelope, pushing the machine to its limits. But, it's it is what it is. They had those three games to keep people buying PlayStation 3s. I know somebody who bought a PlayStation 3 just to play um, Last of Us and Beyond Two
that's
Souls.
yep. I wanted to buy it just to play The Last of Us.
Yeah.
That it, there's a I have a weird thing where I got onto Xbox for a while, um,
Mhm.
and I had a PlayStation 2 Slim, I think,
Okay.
but yeah, it was the one I had, and then I bought that in between. I think I actually bought that later than I should have, and that's why I bought it. But PlayStation always has titles, and this comes into different. They're two different entities, so they're always going to have their exclusives. Um,
Yeah.
But that's the thing that sucks for people like me who don't want to have both systems. Is that I would, and I'm sure you too, if you could have one system that did it all, you would have one instead of
Yeah.
buying the two. Um,
Hmm.
but you get caught up in, do you want it bad enough that you're going to go buy it? Because PlayStation 3, there was, which I think is, uh, what was the game called? Uncharted.
Yes.
Uncharted series I wanted to play really bad, but it didn't. I never got into it until I think when I saw graphics for Uncharted 3 or something like that, or
Hmm.
commercials for Uncharted 3. I was like, oh wow, I want to go play that series. And
Yeah.
then the Little Big Planet series, which is it just looks like a fun game. I It's fun. Like I've been Halo fanboy since it started. So when they introduced Forge, that was something I really liked, and that was something that
Okay.
really was going to pull me in for Little Big Planet, was that you could create your own levels and you could go in and
Yes.
build all this stuff, and that was really like the pull for me of what really got me into the game, which I never really played besides demos, but it's just it just looked like a fun game. It wasn't the best graphics, but it's like playing a Wii. It's not the best graphics, but there's some fun games. So you know,
Exactly.
Nintendo kind of holds on with making fun games at least. Um,
Yeah.
you know,
They got like a lot of little gems too, as well. It's just, but that's I don't know. Like, when did I start buying both consoles? Um, PlayStation 2 and Xbox. I actually, I didn't. I had my PlayStation 2. I was gung ho. I was just holding strong with my PlayStation 2, and then I think the Xbox came out, or the Xbox been out, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna get it. No, I'm not gonna get it. No, I'm not gonna get it. And then next thing you know, Christmas came around, and my wife ended up getting it for my girlfriend at the time. She ended up buying it for me for Christmas. I got it, and I was like, okay. And I started playing online. I was like, okay, this is pretty cool, playing online. And then I started playing. I forget which. I think it was Rainbow Six Black Arrow, and I like really got addicted to it.
hmm
And me and my friend, we actually became like number four in the world at one point in time. And it was we would wake up. We always would schedule ourselves to work late nights so we can play. So we can come home, play, and play with the Europe guys, the guys over in Europe.
yeah,
And so like they taught us so much stuff. Like we just log on and everything else like that. It's like it sucks for because when I went from my Xbox to my Xbox 360, none of them ended up getting a Xbox 360, and then you keep them on your friends list for so long, and then you're like, oh, they're not coming over,
yeah,
and then next thing you know, it's like, damn, I wish I could have linked up with them and kept contact because we had fun. Like it was fun playing games, not nowadays where you got kids getting out of school at 3 o'clock, and you're like, damn,
oh
if I
yeah.
get I
I
get off of
can't I
work,
can't even play games at a certain point if it's not with
yeah,
people I know, because it's just to the point where I just get mad, and I'm so sick of hearing
yeah, it's like all it
kids
is. It's
acting
like,
their
yeah,
tough
they're
stuff
internet thugs. That's what I
online.
call them. Internet tough guys. Internet thugs. That's what I call them. Cause, dude, I swear, I'm going to play Battlefield online. I'm going to do the campaign for my web thing, and I'm gonna do a series called "Getting Good at Battlefield 4," and it's
hmm
just gonna be me playing. Like I'm not gonna play it all the time, but when I go in, I'm gonna get good at the game. I'm gonna be putting up some good I guess what they call them KDs, kill death ratios. I'm
Uh-huh.
gonna try to get some good kill deaths. But it's something that I'm gonna have to decide how I'm actually gonna do the series. Like, am I gonna have myself in a party, or am I just gonna play the gameplays and then talk over them? Um, because that's why I do like a lot of the let's plays now, because I don't have the time to record them and then edit them down and do everything else like that. Like I like doing it live because once I record it, I throw it into
Yeah.
Vegas, hit render as, and boom, it about 30 minutes to an hour later, I got a video posted. So
hmm
it's
And
pretty it's pretty good. But yeah, man, I can't play with the internet thugs, man. They get on my nerves. We call them randoms now because we be in Grand Theft Auto 5 online, and uh, as soon as we get randoms that cop in our world, it's either you're gonna play right or you're gonna get harassed by us the whole time you're in there.
Yeah, I would
Cause
just be
I
driving
can't
around.
deal with them. Huh?
I would just be driving. I think the last time I played online for Grand Theft Auto, it was just about getting a car, driving around, trying to find the biggest crash I could do. But then,
Yes.
you had everybody just chasing you with AKs and stuff, and I was like, oh man, I'm just trying to. I don't know. Like I said, I get to a point with a game where I don't get bored with the game, but I get bored with the objective, and then I just got to mess around. And then when people
Yep.
mess me up while I'm messing around, it just makes me not want to play, and it just bums me out. And I'm like, well, I forget it. I just wanted to do this. I'll just go do it by myself. Like I'll totally sign
Yep.
off.
I'm done.
But
Yeah. Yeah,
uh,
it gets like that, man. Cause the randoms they come through and they're like, cause in Grand Theft Auto they got the bounty system, and all you have to do is like steal a car from a NPC,
uh-huh.
and next thing you know, it's like, oh, you stole my car. You're gonna pay for that. Boop, $5,000 bounty. And people are so money hungry in that game. Like, what are you wasting your money on? They just gave
Uh,
us $500,000. You know, like
yeah.
what do you need more money for? It's like, why do you come harassing me for $5,000? So that's
Now,
what
what
I'm
do you
glad I
think?
found. Go ahead. I'm
What
listening.
do you have that for?
What, the 5,000 for
No, no, no. I
um
mean, Grand Theft Auto. What system?
Xbox?
Okay.
A lot of my multiplayer games are going to be on Xbox because that's where a majority of my friends are.
Uh-huh.
My Sony PlayStation setup is pretty much just for me
Hmm.
because I just hop on and play. There's really not that much. Only the main reason why I have the PlayStation at first was the baseball MLB The Show. That's the best baseball that's out. I think it's the only baseball that's out now because 2K went under with their baseball. Prove me if I'm wrong. Yeah, I say that a lot because you might hear me say "prove me if I'm wrong." I'm not talking to you. I'm talking like whoever in a comment or whoever else like that. I just say that a lot.
Oh, they will.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
Kevin and I went through this last week. He was we were talking comics last week, um,
Hmm.
and a lot of Marvel movies and Shield.
Hmm.
So he was he got in something. He was like, it was his wife or his girlfriend or something. I said, yeah, someone will let you know. So
Yeah.
there's always the one person like sitting there fact checking everything. Like, oh
Yeah.
wait, oh well, you said there was four, and actually there was five balls on that table when you walk in that room. Oh,
Yep.
okay, sorry, it wasn't important, but okay, you got me.
Yeah. Thanks for proving me wrong. That's all I say. Thanks for proving me wrong. Thank you. But yeah,
Um,
man. What
y-
was I gonna say? Yeah, my PlayStation is pretty much just for playing like one player games. Like, I got The Last of Us. I got um uh Heavy Rain, which is a one player game. I got Beyond Two Souls, which is a one player game. I just got like uh my PlayStation 3 has a lot of older games on it too. Just like I got like the Sega collection, which has like what's that what's that game with the comic book? It's like Comic Book Hero or something like that. I forget what it's called. It's an old Genesis game. I got I got all the Sonics, including Sonic and Knuckles, Alter Beast, uh, just stuff like that. I got the Little Big Planets and everything else like that. I could just turn
yeah.
around because it's all sitting right there behind me.
What? Now you just unboxed the one today, right?
Yes,
Okay. And how's the control? Is the controller any different? Because it seems like they had a solid controller.
it's to me it seems smaller. It feels weird, but after having a PlayStation 4 controller in
Uh
my
huh.
hand and then getting used to that again, um, it feels smaller, more compact. Like I was playing what was it? I was playing Killer Instinct, and I could not get the combo out correctly. One because I'm getting slow, and two because these combos are crazy nowadays. It's just like you gotta do a reverse Hadouken, hit uh, reverse Hadouken, low punch, reverse Hadouken, high punch, reverse Hadouken, and then you gotta do a Suryuken. I'm like, dude, like, how am I do? half circle backwards, half circle backwards, and then I'm gotta do the Z, and then hit high punch, which is a trigger. Like I'm sitting there getting frustrated. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna chalk it up to just getting old, just getting old.
Now, is it?
So,
Did you
but
notice on? I noticed it, and apparently, I don't know. Maybe it's just my hands, or maybe they changed something slightly. But when the 360 first came out, and then they released controllers with, I don't know if they were for like refurbs or the newer models after a couple years. But the controller, some of those, the newer, it seemed like there was a newer controller, and it was a lot less bulky, and I it didn't concave like how your fingers kind of wrap around it, so you're holding it, so it's because you're playing all thumbs anyway with any controller. So the way that your hand went around it, and there was like that little, yeah, I don't know, I'll just call it like the little valley, like right before the battery on each side, where your
yeah,
fingers would kind of sit.
yeah,
That was when you had like a newer controller. It seemed like the newer controller was smaller. Is that what the new controller with the one is like? Is it's not as
it doesn't
it
have a
doesn't fill it
valley.
doesn't fill your hands as much.
Yeah, pretty much that, and that's what it is. It doesn't fill your hand as much. I was like, I don't have big hands, I don't think, but the 360 controller was. I'll right now the 360 controller is like the best controller
Yeah,
I ever played with,
I agree.
hands
If
down, the
if it's
best
the right
controller.
one.
Yeah, if it's the one with the valley, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
But the new one doesn't have the valley because it has a flat back now, and you don't get the grip, and the triggers are different now too. It's like they're more built into the controller. So, like you
yeah,
know how on the 360 controller or the Microsoft computer controller,
hmm,
you can just put your middle fingers right there in the valley, and you'd be good to go like all the rest of the day because all you really need is your index for the triggers.
yeah,
So, but yeah, it feels a little weird. The 360 controller is the best to me. Period. Um, is the PlayStation 4 controller is actually I like the PlayStation 4 controller better. It's because it's wider, and I was reading that Sony pretty much made the spacing between all the buttons equal now
hmm,
because they say on the older like PlayStation 1 controller and a PlayStation 2 controller, the square and the what's that square and the circle, they weren't spaced apart in equal amount like
yeah,
the other two buttons are. So they made that a good circle now. So it feels a lot better. It's wider. It's pretty easy. But I gotta like I did with the PlayStation 4. Maybe I gotta use it for a week nonstop. Get a good 3 hours a day in with it.
yeah,
Maybe it'll feel better. But as of right now, I like the PlayStation 4 controller over the Xbox One controller. But my favorite controller like of all time right now is the Xbox 360 controller.
yeah. I'm gripping onto my 360 controller. Like I'll use it for PC gaming because I have the little wireless device I can plug in to my USB
Yeah.
and use it. Um,
Hmm.
but like I said, I have another. My thumbstick started to go, and I actually adjusted them myself a little bit to tighten them back up. But in the meantime, I had gotten a different controller, and that's the one that's the thinner of the two, and I cannot use it. I can't use it. It doesn't feel right. My old one is the one where it was like black and gray, and then the newer
Yeah,
ones
that's
they
the one
just
I
made
got.
yeah they just made black.
Yep.
So, and those are the thinner ones. That probably that probably sums it up to everybody a little bit better of what I'm talking about when I say old and new controllers.
Yeah.
But we have that old black one, and then we have two of the original white ones that came with it,
Hmm.
and then and I have another extra one which I don't use. It's if if my buddy comes in or something and he'll bring his 360 over or whatever, I'll just have an extra controller that he can use or something. Um, because he usually doesn't bring it. He'll just bring a system. But
Yeah.
so I have my 360 controller for my computer, but I don't use my 360 controller for my computer because I've been trying to use my keyboard and my mouse more,
Well,
which which is good and bad because some of the controls on some of the games you need a couple extra. Seems like you need a couple extra buttons, or I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but like I said, I got the first with the humble bundles.
mhm.
I got the first two Batman games, and now I have Fear 2 and 3, which I
Heard
haven't.
th- heard those
I
are
never
really
even
good.
played. I heard they were supposed to be kind of like play 'em in a dark room type
Mm.
games, uh,
Yeah.
like old Resident Evil you know, scare the crap out of you once in a while.
Yeah.
But it's I have never been into that. I never got into that series, nor do I really know what it's about. So I'm not really gonna talk about it until I start playing a little bit. But
Mm.
my point is that I have played the Batman series on the 360, so I'll probably want to use my controller when I go play the Batman series, not use the mouse and keyboard.
Oh yeah. You
And
gotta do that.
then and then the other thing I wanted to say was with the PlayStation with the PlayStation. Now, did you ever play? Were you ever a Splinter Cell fan?
Yes. Yes, I have
And
all the Splinter Cells.
and what do you have for PlayStation or Xbox?
On PlayStation 3, I think I have the first three because it came in a bundle pack. And
Hmm.
then on Xbox, I have all the rest of them, which was like what? Not Pandora, Tomorrow. The exclusive ones, the ones that they didn't release on Xbox. I think it's like Blacklist. I got Blacklist, I got Conviction, and Double Agent
Uh-huh.
on 360.
See, and those games, that's one of my favorite series as far as shooting goes and sneaking and doing all that. Um,
Okay.
I'm not I'm not a big Call of Duty guy. I'm just
Me
not.
neither.
I if my whole thing with that game, I'm not going to go off too much on it, but my whole thing with that game is if I want to shoot somebody, I'll go play paintball. Go play paintball. And other than that, the game is too real for me. Like I like I said, I'm a Halo fan. I'd rather play Halo. Why? Because I can jump way further in the air than I could normally. I can go shoot aliens. I can use guns that aren't real, that are fun.
Mhm.
I can throw plasma grenades and all kinds of weird stuff. It's just if you want to get into the earlier games, there's all the glitches that I love. Um,
Yeah.
super jumps and sword jumps and grenade jumps that actually worked. All that stuff that I that I loved. Um, but when it came to Splinter Cell, I preferred it on PlayStation's controller.
Mhm.
Um, and I don't know why that is. I think it just for the movements, it just felt better on the smaller controller. I see, like I don't know. I'm like I said, I love the 360 controller. It's just on that game, something pulled me away to where I'm like, yeah, I gotta play that on PlayStation.
Yeah, that's just how I
Uh,
am with baseball games. Like, I can't play baseball games on any other system besides PlayStation. Well, with any other controller besides PlayStation controller. And that's another reason why I can't get rid of my PlayStation because I like baseball. So, but yeah,
so,
I got games like that too. It's just like what was that? I played like Rainbow Six, the Tom Clancy games. I
mhm.
can't, I really can't move from those because I know my movements. I know everything on the Tom Clancy game, so I gotta keep those on Xbox.
Now, where'd you start with your gaming? Get into
Um,
that a little bit.
where did I start with gaming?
Like, what was your first system?
First system was I don't know if it was a system, but I know I tripped over the keyboard and it came falling off the dresser, and my brothers like kicked my butt for like 3 days. But it had this little flight simulator game. It was real corny. I could never land, but I just had fun like flying around. But then after that, my cousins and we all got a Nintendo.
Mhm.
Mario 1, Mario 2, Duck Hunt, track and field. I remember doing that,
Dude,
cheating, just
I still
banging
have the
on it with
power
your
pad.
hands. Oh man.
I still have the power pad, and
One of my
what's
favorites was on NES was River City Ransom.
Yep, that was a good one. Um,
Yeah, I have that on the Wii. Like I downloaded that for the Wii. I love that
I
game.
I was big on my cousin and I. He actually had a Nintendo before I did. Um, well, two of my cousins had it before I did. One was really into Contra, and the other one was really into Ghouls and Ghosts. So
Yeah.
I like but I actually like both of those games, Ghouls and Ghosts, a little bit more because I don't even know if there was a continue in that game. I think it was once you're dead, you just start the game over. Um,
Yeah, I think, and if you end it, you just go back to the beginning and do it all
yeah,
over again.
yeah.
Yeah, that freaked me out.
So, or if your game freezes, then
Yep,
that's a
gotta go
whole
all the
other
way back.
thing. What
Yeah,
else? I liked Bomberman was NES, Mega Man.
yeah, Mega Man.
Um, what were some other one? What were some of your big ones
Uh,
that you
I
can
remember
remember?
Double Dribble because
I like that.
I remember Double because the cut scenes when the people were dunking, and my brother always stole the ball from me no matter what. Like I will go down court, I'm like I'm about to shoot, and the next thing you know, he just jumps with me and just takes the ball, and then go down there and dunk. So Double Dribble, like you said, Contra. Um, Who Framed Roger Rabbit was one that I ended up trading with somebody.
Hmm.
Like they was like, "Oh, let me hold one of your games," and I think I gave them like Contra or something, and they gave me Who Framed Roger Rabbit. That was like way later, but that game was weird. Like I didn't know how to play it, but all I know I can do, I can ride around and drive, and it was just like Grand Theft Auto, but
Yeah.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit. You can run people over and do stuff, and then you go in a certain place, and the next thing you know, the Weasel brothers start chasing you. So, but
Oh yeah, I
my
remember that now.
my main, yeah, my brothers had a Sega, so they got me in like NBA Live and all the Sega greats.
Now,
And
now with
what else?
with your Nintendo, did you did you ever play Blaster Master?
I don't think so. I
Um,
don't think so. Cause
I'll give you the synopsis for the game, and I
okay,
every time I talk to people about Nintendo, because we'll just
hmm
start talking like, oh, I'm a gamer. Oh, you're a gamer. You're a gamer. Oh yeah, what'd you do? You know, because everybody wants to, see how far back you go. Blaster
yeah,
Master was a game where you were a kid, you had a frog, your frog turned radioactive or something, and you shrunk into this world, and you go into you go trying to search for your frog, and you had this little tank, and the tank could jump, and it had a little gun on it, or you could get out and you could be the little guy, and he had this little like tiny like pebble gun or something like that. Um, but that was pretty much the gist of it. Your frog turns radioactive, and you shrink with this tank to go help your frog out, or to go take care
no,
of your frog, something like that.
I have not played that.
It is a
I know
really
it's on the
good
emulator
game.
somewhere.
It is a really good game, and if anybody ever played it, they would probably agree. But I have yet. I just there's a couple people that I know that have played it, but other than that, and that's because we all used to hang out, so that's probably why they know what it is. But other than that, I cannot find anybody who ever heard of this damn game.
Oh man.
Um, but that was a good game. And then after that, you went to Sega, you said?
Yeah, my brother and them got Sega, and then I got, you know, Super NES,
Mm.
which is
See,
pretty damn good.
yeah, I went the other way. I went from NES. My cousin got the Super NES, and I got the Sega. So
Yeah,
I'm guessing a lot of Mario Kart.
it was Mario Kart. It actually was the game that really set me off was Uni Racers and NCAA football, because the screen was diagonal.
Hmm.
It was going from left to right, not up and down like Madden and stuff do.
Yeah.
So all I would do is run a sweep, and you would just see the people running like downfield. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then you just cut up. It was like Tecmo Bowl, but better,
Okay.
like but better graphics and everything else like that. And Uni Racers just like threw me for a loop. Like I didn't know that game was gonna be that fun.
Did you ever
And
get
like it
into
was.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. I'm listening.
Did you ever get into Pilot Wings or Firefox? Any of those games? Or
No,
no, no, it wasn't
I actually
Firefox.
haven't.
what was that game called? Oh God.
I remember like I think Battletoads was on Nintendo, but then they had another
Yep.
Battletoads on there, the Super Double Dragon, like all the super like add-on games that Nintendo
hmm
did. Like I played a little bit of, um, but
Pilot Wings was
then
a bunch of like flight simulation stuff. It was you fly a plane and you have to make it through these circles, or you could skydive, or you could I don't know what other kind of
I
air
think I know what you're
activities there
talking about,
are.
but I don't think I played it.
And Star Fox, that was the other game. That game
I,
I really liked.
I
My
can
cousin had
honestly
that.
say I can honestly say that I have like never played Star Fox. Only time I played with Star Fox was in like Smash Brothers. Like
See,
I
I
never played Star Fox.
I played that one, and I think there was a Star Fox 64. I think
Yeah, I didn't even
I'm
play
pretty
like
sure
we
I didn't
like
play that one.
yeah, like my wife's brother, my brother-in-law I should say, he had a Nintendo 64 and he had Star Fox.
hmm
And that was just oh I'm lying. I played the Star Fox that came on the GameCube. I'm
Okay.
lying. I did play that one because that one was kind of funny. Because when when the Toad guy got shot, he made this like funny face inside the thing. We all just sit there and crack up laughing. But yeah, on Super Nintendo, it was NCAA football. You know the Mario Kart. That was pretty much it. Because I could say my game, like I played a lot of games, but I didn't start getting into gaming until PlayStation.
Okay.
But I had Nintendo, Super Nintendo. I had access to like almost all the consoles because I had Nintendo and the Super Nintendo. My brother had Genesis, and then what was after that? 64.
Sega
It was
Saturn
64,
and
and it
then
was the
64.
PlayStation.
Well, you had Sega Saturn in there,
Yeah,
and then
yeah. I didn't mess with that.
before the PlayStation, yeah, I didn't have that either. That was one that though I'll just go how I went. I went Nintendo, Sega,
Hmm.
um, Nintendo 64,
Hmm.
uh, PlayStation 2, and 360. I
Yeah,
believe. I believe
I
that's how I
think I
went.
did
And
Nintendo, Super Nintendo, uh, PlayStation, PlayStation 2, Xbox. What was that? 360, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One.
then we're missing one in here, and it's a very rare one. I don't know if you ever
Dreamcast.
heard. No, oh, well, I forgot about the Dreamcast.
Yeah,
No, Panasonic had a system called the 3DO,
oh, yeah, I remember that. I didn't have
and
it though.
I we got it for Christmas one year from our grandparents. There we had my grandmother and grandfather. They had three kids, so all of us, all the cousins, got the system for their house, and it was basically my cousins and I because we lived here,
Hmm.
and our other two cousins they live further towards Allentown, so we were always the one playing it, and they had um, they had Road Rash, which I believe was on
I remember.
Sega also,
Yep.
which was a bike racing game, um,
Mhm.
and uh, Alone in the Dark was the other game, and it was really blocky like Virtual Fighter, um,
Mhm.
but it was also really good. And the reason I liked it was kind of puzzling. Like it was one of those you have to figure stuff out, and we're not
Yeah.
gonna. And if you and it that was it. There was no you didn't go talk to anybody, and they said, "Oh, you must go down to the cellar and do this." It was like, yeah, you just
Mhm.
got to figure out. Go down to the cellar and do this. Otherwise, you're stuck. Um,
Yep.
and that was, but I was one of the few people I think that probably ever played one of those systems because that was that was right before PlayStation, and then PlayStation came out. All the games for the 3DO were around like $34, $35, and they dropped
Mhm.
down to like $10, and then they
Mhm.
just dropped off the shelf within I think a couple months.
Yeah.
Um, but I also had so I kind of had that system, but not in my possession. Um, so then you said you went from
From
you had a 64 too?
no, I that's the one system I did. That's another one of the systems I didn't have. I went from Sega to around when the 64 came out. I was playing a lot of Pop Warner football, so I wasn't really playing, or wherever I was playing football. Because like for one time in my life, football was like everything.
Hmm.
So like I had the systems but I just really didn't play them. Like I know when I got from my Super Nintendo, I went straight to PlayStation.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think I skipped I skipped over the first PlayStation
yeah. I remember
for a
what was that?
while.
I remember going to what was that? Um, Going to the store, buying like the PlayStation magazines or whatever magazine that had the PlayStation demo disc.
Hmm.
There was this one F1 racing game. I played the hell out of that. Ridge Racer. Uh, what else I had? Soul Calibur. Well, Soul Blade at the time. Like that was one of my favorite games. That's where I learned how to start doing combos and stuff like that. Oh, and Super Nintendo, all the Street Fighters. I had all of those. That was another thing too.
Yeah, I used to
Street
play the
Fighter
hell out
games.
of the first, well, the Super Nintendo one.
Yeah.
We used
Um.
to play the hell out of that and Mario Kart for the most part.
Yeah. And then from PlayStation, I remember too because I was like, how am I gonna? I was
So you
because
didn't
the
get into Mortal
PlayStation.
Kombat?
No, I actually wasn't. I'm actually still not a Mortal Kombat fan. It's just like the new Injustice game,
Yep.
the with Batman and all them. Like I
Yeah.
will only play it just to play as Green Arrow. Like that's the only way I will play that game. But I'm like, I don't really don't feel like playing it.
We played that at when was the first time I played that? Uh, Wait, is it Injustice? Is there another one? There's one for.
It's one that came out for like Xbox and PlayStation 3. It's a fighting game from the same
Yeah,
people that make Mortal Kombat. And then there's a new Mortal
Injustice
Kombat.
is the new one, right? Or
Yeah, Injustice
newer.
is a new one.
And
Yeah,
then there was one before that. Um,
The one before
but
that might have been the
I
Mortal
think it was
Kombat.
no, I think it was Marvel people though. Uh,
Oh, Marvel versus Capcom,
yeah, well, I think.
SNK versus Capcom. Yeah,
Yeah,
I played all those.
we played that a few years ago at guy that was on this podcast last week, and he'll be back at Kevin's house. He went out and got it, and we played it one year. I forget if it was around. It was probably around the holidays or something that we were over his house, and and then I think I played Injustice. That came out last year. Was that last
Either
year?
last year or earlier this year. Tail end of last year, earlier this year.
Yeah, I what the hell was it? But yeah, my buddy came over and he started playing that. And I played that for a couple times, but I didn't really ever get into it, just because I was never I was into the first Mortal Kombat because that's where we started.
Mhm.
I was into the first Mortal Kombat. I think I was into the second. Maybe the third is when I started falling off, and then I don't really care anymore. I played one a few years ago, and I just didn't care anymore. As far as like combo games and stuff go, I still and yeah, there still are arcades around.
Mhm.
Not a
Yeah.
lot of them, but you can find
Yep.
them in random malls and stuff like that. And if they have fighting games, I just rather play them on like an old arcade system. There's one up here, uh, um, up in northern PA this weekend. I believe the mall that's closest to me still has one of the virtual fighters
Oh.
in the not like the first one. I think there was maybe two or three or something after um, the original one, and they have one of the newer virtual fighter games it's still old as crap, but they still have one of those. They have a couple gems that like hide out in the back. Um,
Yeah.
we actually we actually went to a bounce house the other day, and
Mhm.
lo and behold, sitting there was I thought it was an original Miss Pac-Man, but
Mhm.
it had like 30 or 40 games on it. It was one of those big like
Uh,
here's you can pick a bunch of games, but they were all that kind of all the older games. There was nothing newer on there. Um,
yeah, that's what I want to get. Like when I move, that's probably something I'm going to invest in, like an
an
old
old
arcade
old arcade
cabinet, and throw
games.
like yeah, old arcade games. Like, cause for one, like I want to say like 2 years ago, I was like big into Centipede. Like for some reason, I was just like Centipede out, like no matter what. Like I was just always playing it, always playing it, always playing it. It's like the most simplest game. All you gotta do
Yeah.
is just shoot the little thing as it comes down. But that's it. Just like I went back, I got the original Mario on my Wii, and
Oh
I'm
yeah.
like, okay, we're gonna sit back and play this. I'm like, oh, this is easy, dude. That game,
That game
those
is
old games are
that.
really hard, man.
Yeah, those games are
I was sitting there
harder.
getting pissed,
Those games are harder than games are now, and
yes,
that's like when we're talking about the what do you call them? Internet thugs or
yeah, internet thought,
online thugs, whatever. That's
yeah, internet,
like those kids that they just don't understand like old games. Like and no kids really understand old games because old games where there were no difficulties.
hmm
You played the game and that was it. There was no I'm gonna play it on easy the first time through, and that like kids now
no, ain't
they
none of
play
that.
Batman and they'll be like, okay, well I'm gonna play it on easy or normal, and then the second time I play it, I'll know what's coming pretty much, and then I could work my way up to hard. It was like, no, you're playing the game. That's it. And
Yeah,
and Mario was one of those games that like, what was it even? World 1, 2.
Work.
When you go down
Yeah,
and there's the first warp, so many
hmm
people didn't know if you jump over that set of warps and go over, there's a whole other warp over there. Like there were so many hidden tricks in those games that I mean, you could probably honestly, if you knew which levels to hit and where the warps were, you'd get to the end of the game in like 15, 20 minutes. I think
yeah.
like something like
There was
that.
just a couple speed runs out,
Yeah,
people doing it.
but it's it was a lot. I don't know. It was a lot different gaming then than it is now. Like
Yeah.
even some of the games um like Halo at one point, like as soon as we got it, I was just like put on legendary, and I'm playing it with um two smaller kids, and they're like, "Well, it's too hard. I can't beat this guy." I'm like, "Hide, hide!" Like, no, come on,
Yep.
come on, come on. Like I would just put it on the hardest level because it's just what old games used to be. I mean,
Yep.
did you kind of get that like same feeling of like you said Mario was hard, which people will probably sit there and go, "Oh yeah, I'm sure it's real hard." But then when you go back and
Yeah.
play it, I mean,
Yeah.
it
After,
wasn't simple.
you had a controller that had what, a D-pad and two buttons.
Yep,
Now we got controllers with what,
and that D-pad,
8, 12, plus two analogs plus a D-pad. Like, come on now. Like back then it was so simple. You had to hold down A and then press B to jump. Stuff like that. But now games now it's like you said, games back then were like a totally different beast. It's just like
hmm
I'm actually looking at my memory on my 360. I got Dig Dug on there, dude. I love Dig Dug. Like that's one of my favorite games. Like if I can get that in an arcade cabinet, I'll be a happy camper. But I was sitting there playing Dig Dug, and I'm like, how? Like why? I just killed him. Why is his eyes floating through all that stuff? Trying to get to me. I'm like, oh, all right, cool. I had to think about it and everything else like that. But a lot of the older games, like you said, there was one setting, which was it was just this is how the game is going to be played.
yeah,
It's not really as difficult. It's all about how you attack the game. And like when you attack Mario, the first couple boards, you can just hold down and run all through them.
hmm
Sometimes you gotta wait, and then you get to the the mushroom cat board where you gotta jump, 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 and do all that other
Yep.
stuff. And you gotta ride, you ride the little conveyor belt thing for a little bit. But yeah, it's like they they put the monsters there for a reason. It's just like that. I watched a documentary called Indie Games. You
Uh-huh.
probably seen it when about the people who made like Super Meat Boy, Fez, and I forget what the other one was. But it's on Netflix if you check it out. But like Super Meat Boy, they got it right from the beginning. They said I'm used to playing old Nintendo games, you know, and Super Meat Boy, all it is where you're just trying to say it's a puzzle game, but it's also like a little adventure game, well,
Hmm.
action game, I should say. But you just run over, and you gotta jump over to one uh, cavern, and then you gotta do all this other stuff, and then like at board number 10, they refresh you by making you use what you used in the old thing. That's what a lot of the new games do now. It's like, oh yeah, I'll use my like in Batman just for example because we've been talking about Batman a lot. In Batman, you'll use your remote batarang like 4 times total in like any of the games. Like, okay, so I can't use it for nothing else but those 4 times I gotta throw it.
Yeah.
And like stuff like that. It's like I understand like you should be able to have multiple ways of completing an objective. Like that's just how I feel with certain games nowadays. Like you need to have multiple ways of doing everything. Like that's the main reason why I play Battlefield over Call of Duty. It's like, yeah, you still going linear, but am I going to go through the building? Am I going to go over the building? Or am I going to go under the building? You have those different ways to complete your objective.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're playing team deathmatch, but if the guy comes with a helicopter and he can drop you off on the highest building and you can snipe, boom, that's one way we can win. You
That's
know,
what I
and
always
then
liked
if I,
about Splinter Cell too.
yeah,
Sorry not to cut you off, but that's why I like that. I like options,
yep,
where you can go either battle your way
loud or
through,
quiet.
or or you could just sit there and lurk in the shadows, wait till the guy passes, throw a can or something, and
Hmm.
he goes over, checks it out, go over, and knock him out or something. Like I like when you have options, and that's you know, um, once we start talking more about games and everything, my eternal hate for Call of Duty is going to come out,
Oh,
and
dude,
a
I
lot
hope.
of people love it, and that's fine. It's not for me at all. I feel it's like the worst game that has ever been made, and it makes so much money. But it's
Yeah,
I mean, people like what they like. You can't change that. So
yeah.
if you want to play something, like I said, if you want to play something really real, I feel like yeah, it's pretty real, but like you said, it's also really kind of linear too. Like like
It's an
it's
online game, and they just need to make
yeah,
online games. That's how I
yeah,
feel
and
about it. It's like when your story goes from being about a good 8, 9 hours down to a good 4, your focus is not on the people who only play campaigns. And that's where I was for a long time, where I didn't play any. I would play shooter games just for the campaign, and wonder why I would end them in 2 days. You know,
yeah,
two 4-hour sittings, and I'm like, okay, and that's on hard difficulty, and stuff like that. So um, that's why I'm so looking forward to Titanfall to come out on the for Microsoft. It's only multiplayer online, and it's all the people who made the good Call of Duty games.
hmm
You know, so that's gonna be a really good one. Plus, it got mechs in it. Mike, you gotta play a game that has mechs in it.
I'm excited for
But yeah,
oh god, I can't even remember. It's got to be coming out on PlayStation. I forget if we talked about this or I was talking to somebody else about it. PlayStation 2, I
uh
believe. Yeah. Shadows of the Colossus. Did you ever
yes,
play the game?
yeah, that was me. Shadows and Icon.
Yeah. That was
Yep.
that was one. That's one of my. I'll put that in my all-time top five. Just for Again, not the greatest graphics.
Hmm.
Gameplay was a little bit, um, jumpy. It wasn't real super smooth, especially when trying to maneuver your horse and everything, which it doesn't
Yeah.
seem like any game really got that right yet. Um,
No.
but who knows? Maybe there's a whole bunch of medieval games that I don't play that have really good horse riding. Um, even Skyrim, the horses are really bad. They're not, they're not as smooth as I feel they could be. But
Yeah.
they have a new one coming
You need to
out.
get you a PlayStation 3, man.
Yeah, somebody's just gonna want to send me one, or I'll wait for the price drop. Um,
Dude, man, I'm trying to compile, like, I'm trying to get a couple more like these old systems. Like, I'm talking to all my friends, and like, I know, I'm like, you don't really want your system. Why don't you just bring it over to me, and I'll pay you in installments. If I could find a PlayStation 3, dude, you got it. Like,
See, I
cause
used to do that too, but for other reasons. I used to like to take them apart.
oh yeah,
But
you
yeah,
can do whatever you want with it. Like,
no,
once I give
there,
it to you.
no. If it was a three, I'm sure there's a ton of games I would want to play. Um,
Yeah, man.
but yeah, they have wait, they have a new game coming out that's from that same maker and it's the same series.
Was it The
Um,
Last Guardian or something
yeah, The
like that?
Last Guardian or something like that. I've
Yep.
been waiting for that game forever, yeah, because I really want it to be good. And just because it's taken long doesn't mean that's gonna
Yeah.
be. And there was a little magic in that first game, but I'm really hoping it's something like that first game. It was just, for anybody who doesn't know, it was you as a little guy that rode a horse and you shot arrows, and I think you had a knife. Um,
Yeah. So
and
sword.
other than that, uh, there were, I think, 12 to
It,
14 bosses, and the whole game was just bosses, and the bosses were the size of skyscrapers,
yep.
and you had to figure out how to get up on them, where their weak spots were, and you had to take them down. Which I think for some reason, I think there was a game for PlayStation 3 that was like that. It wasn't all bosses, but I remember seeing a demo of a game where you had to fight these really humongous bosses. I don't know. I, I always want to say it's Resistance, and I don't think that's what it was.
Oh, I don't know.
Because I think it came out around the same time as that game. I don't think it was that. But I just remember there's this guy in this the demo that I saw of it was there's this guy and he's in this big huge building that a whole bunch of the windows are like busted out and they're doing construction on or something. And there's this huge monster and he's just shooting it, shooting it, shooting it, trying to take it down.
Mm.
Um, but I mean it looked like it was going to be a really fun game. I like fun games. As far as all that goes, that's what got me on 360 was, I mean, the reason I went to 360 instead of jumping over to a PlayStation 3 or whatever is because I had Halo, and
Yeah.
it was just a fun game for me. Like I probably bummed all my friends out with how much I actually wanted to play it. Um, but we used to have the big LAN parties and everything all the time. There was a college down here that they used to actually, when there was a big release, I think they did it for a Call of Duty game. I know they did it for Halo 2, 2, yeah, or whatever the one was after 2. Um, but they would bring in these big movie screens, and there would be on. So if you're in a gymnasium or something, which it could be way smaller than that, but they would have these two huge movie screens, and they would have 4-on-4 games. So so you could just walk by as like a bystander watching like all these people just run around, which is really cool. Um, Another thing I did want to touch on was since we're in gaming backgrounds and we're a site about pretty much everything to do with gaming, tech, comics, anything like that. So touching a little bit on the tech side, are there any really fun games that you like to play on your phone, non-system games.
On my phone. Let's see, what games do I play on my phone? I don't know. Like, wife got me playing that Simpsons Tap Out game. That's pretty cool, but I hate when they do like Simpsons and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So, um, majority of the time it's either I'm in Solitaire, Tap Out. Since the new systems came out, I've been messing with the new apps, the PlayStation app, and the Smart Glass app for the Xbox One. Um, that's pretty much it. Like phone gaming, no. I downloaded this football game. What's it called? Football Heroes. It was free,
Hmm.
so I downloaded it. They said they got power ups and stuff like that, so I wanted to see what was going on.
I
But
just
as
got
far as phone gaming, pretty much no.
I just got I I don't play a lot of games. I played they had a Batman game on there
Hmm.
for the Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah,
Um, and
they
then
got one for the new one too. The
for Thor,
Arkham.
they have one for Thor.
Okay.
Um, I know, but
Yeah, for
what
Splinter
happened
Cell, I
is
know that.
with the Dark Knight Rises, they actually went for an update, and
Okay.
when they updated it, it ended up making the game crash.
Oh no.
So I think they purposely did that. So and there hasn't been any support for it anymore. So I couldn't get the game, and the game was pretty fun. It was pretty easy, but I mean it was fun. You're sneaking around. It was kind of the same thing as Arkham, except it wasn't you were going through like bosses and stuff. You were kind of chasing Bane the whole time. Um, well, as far as I got before I updated, and then like I said, the thing crashed. The other new game I started playing on my phone was Plants vs Zombies 2.
Yeah.
I was never into one,
Mhm.
um, but I started playing two, and it's a pretty fun game as far as being a time filler. Um,
Yes.
and it's not even, I don't know, some of those time filler games can get kind of repetitive, and this one, I don't, I'm not somebody that's gonna go and buy this stuff,
Yeah.
because I know when it seemed like everybody was playing Candy Crush. I
Hmm.
guess people still do play it a lot, but since I switched phones and I lost my progress on it, I haven't played it.
Hmm.
I have no want or will to. But I'm not one of those people that go and buy power ups even for 99 cents or whatever
Oh
it
no.
is. I won't go and buy a power up, so I won't go and pay to unlock all the characters. I'll work at it until I get it. Um, I
That's one
think
of those games where like you can play it for a certain amount of hours and then you gotta wait like 30 minutes to get like a refill or something like that.
yeah, yeah. I think that's what are you talking for Candy Crush or for Plants vs Zombies?
I
Uh,
think for like Candy Crush. Plants vs
yeah,
Zombies, I know about that one. I played
yeah,
the first
yeah,
one.
yeah. I think it's like you can you can buy power ups or something like that, and people can give you lives or whatever. I don't know if you connect through Facebook. I never ever did any of that. I just played the game on my phone because it was something to do at night when something stupid was on TV and I was trying to kill time, or
Yeah.
during the day when same thing was going on. Um, so
They're bringing out
that's
a my bad, I didn't mean to cut you off, but they're
okay.
bringing out like a Call of Duty Plant vs Zombies game.
Are they?
It's like you gotta pick one of like the pea shooter, you can be the Venus flytrap and stuff like that. You go around like killing the zombies, like going
Wow.
around shooting. A couple of my friends we were talking about getting it. It's coming out on Xbox One only. They say it's like should be out like this summer, so
Okay.
I might try that out.
I still got time for the Xbox One to drop $20 before I buy it.
Oh,
Uh,
I'm trying to tell you the reason why like I'm not rich or anything else like that. The only reason why I get the consoles is because man, you gotta treat it like a layaway. This is J Max tip to buying consoles. What you do is whenever you hear about a new console or anything, like I do this even with like the games, you gotta look at it like this. If you can reserve it the day that you know that you can reserve it, so you can say it's a game. You go in and put $5 on the game. The game will be like $63. So if you don't eat lunch for a week at $5 a day, That's $25. So you just put that $25 up, and then that Friday you go right back to the game store, put that $25 on there. So now you got $30 on the game. You just do keep doing that until you pay it off. It's just like with the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. What I did was I had to reserve them. So I had to reserve my PlayStation 4 first because um, when I went to reserve the Xbox, they were like, "Oh, we're not taking reserves for it yet." So I'm like, "All right, damn." So I reserved the PlayStation 4, and then the next day I got an email. I got a no, I was on GameFly app, and they were like, "Hey, you can't reserve no more Xboxes." So I was like, "Get the f out of here." So I went into GameStop like that Friday just to pick up a game. I forget what it was, and I was like, "Hey, can I still reserve the Xbox?" And they was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, we can reserve it." So I reserved it. So eating lunch at my job is about like $7 a day. So I'm like, I'm not gonna eat lunch here no more. So what I did, I went to the supermarket, got some lunch meat, got some little canned soups. I got a little bit of everything to get me going. So what I
You were
did
living off
was,
ramen
all I
noodles,
did,
weren't you?
yeah, man, living off ramen, cup of noodle. Yeah, man, you just pretty much just take all that money and just throw it onto the game.
And also,
It takes willpower, but you know, it works.
it sounds like it also works if you know a gamer who might just sit around a little bit too much and wants to lose some weight. Just tell
Oh,
them start saving for that new system.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, because I got like two of my friends got the systems doing my little method, and they were like, "Dude, man, I'm never paying for anything bulk again." I was like, "Yeah, like it's a layaway that you can pay off." So I'm like, and like I'll reserve like going there like $25, reserve like 5 games,
yeah,
and then just pay them off one by one.
so that's your tip, J Max tip.
Yeah, that's my tip. That's my J Max tip. Treat it
I'm
like a layaway.
we're gonna get into consoles in a second, because I
Okay.
want to finish up on consoles because you and I talked about this a little bit the other day, and I actually refined my thought a little bit, and
Okay.
I got a couple people going, yeah, man, that's a pretty valid point. Um, I do want to touch on because now I can't talk a lot about it because there's a disclosure agreement and blah 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 about it, and I'm not going to ruin anybody's time of getting their games. Um,
Mm.
but Elder Scrolls Online is it's been in beta, I guess, since June. They're sending out random beta tests to people if you signed up online. Um, I signed up. A couple other people signed up. Anyway, I got a present today, and it wasn't from them, but it was from my cousin. He sent me his online account to use for this weekend for this beta because he's not going to be able to use it. Apparently, they're doing a lot of the big mass multiplayer stuff, and they said that there's a couple dungeons that you're going to go in and be able to play. So I'm pretty excited. I'm gonna try to not say too much about it because I don't know what the disclosure agreement is. I'm obviously not going to say who I got it from
Yeah.
or his name or any of that stuff for the for that reason. But I'm supposed to get the client downloaded hopefully tonight or tomorrow. I'll be able to play it a little bit, and I'll probably do somewhat of a small review on what I played. As far as what they said you can do is you can go on this weekend. Let me I'm going to look at it so I get this right. You can go on, you can create your character, and there's two separate things that you can sign up for. There is the beta, and then there's a separate. I guess you have a separate account for the beta forums. So what it says here is we're just gonna anybody who doesn't have this, we're just gonna spoil this a little bit. Let's see. You will be able to,
Kill stuff.
yeah, you'll be able to
It's
kill
all
stuff.
about.
You'll be asked to verify your email. You'll be able to go in, create your character, and participate in the MMO and the a couple smaller quests. You can only go up to, which I'm guessing if anybody actually, I don't even know how anybody's going to do this. If they maybe don't sleep for the next 2 days, because it started today at 6 p.m. It ends on Sunday at that would be November 24th at 11:59 p.m. Um, and you can join one of three alliances, create your character, play up to level 17. So to get to level 17, I would imagine you'd be playing for those full days, 2 full days. Well, it's really like a day and a half or whatever.
It can be done.
Um, yeah,
Party up.
just don't sleep. Stack up on. I'm gonna go with my personal favorite, which is Red Bull. Um, Stack up on it, drink the hell out of it, have some coffee. Um, I'm not gonna say. I'm sure there's some meth heads that'll be up playing too.
Oh man.
So, so get itchy and become a wizard. But yeah, so that's out. I'm gonna do a little bit of a review on it. Hopefully tomorrow, if not Sunday. Maybe little bit later. I might let some things sink in, see what I actually did like about it, what I don't like. I'm hoping there's not going to be a lot of lag, which I'm pretty sure they figured all that out, and that's all part of the beta. They want to, not overload their servers from what they're saying, so they're letting people in a little bit at a time.
Okay.
And then the last thing I think we're going to touch on is I was talking to you about consoles the other day and computer gaming, and where I thought Microsoft might go. So I just want to get this out there in case this does ever happen.
Mm-hmm.
I've already called it. I think the smart thing to do. Now you're thinking we were talking PlayStation earlier when you said probably 10 years, right?
I was saying both.
Oh, for
I
both.
was saying a
Okay.
lot of good. Yeah,
Okay.
10 years, 10, 15.
Okay. I'm thinking. I don't know if it's going to be 10 years, but they probably could if they stretch it out. I think things are moving. Jay, we got 4K TVs coming out.
Yeah.
Uh, we got a lot of stuff moving and a lot. Who was it? I wish I would have pulled the article, but I didn't even think of it till now. Um, somebody just made some. Somebody's in the process of making some really fast chips that blow everything away. Um, there's also some new kinds of storage and stuff coming out. Instead of using, what do they use for? Is it still USB 6 that they're using for both the systems, or do they have their own special thing that they're selling to you?
I think
If
it's,
you want to migrate some stuff.
uh, still think it's USB. Let me see real quick. I
Okay.
forget that quick fast.
Okay. Um, well, if it is, or if they have their own special thing, there are uh, recently enough to talk about it. There's been movement for there's a way that they're going to be transferring information onto little they're like glass plates, and apparently they last a lot longer. Like thumbstick, I think has a shelf life of I don't know. Let's say the shelf life of a thumbstick is 18 years. Um, and if you don't move the data off of that, then you're kind of moving into weird territory. I guess these glass ones, they're double or triple that, and I guess they hold a lot more information. But things are moving. So my idea is that Microsoft, if they really wanted to, let's say they're gonna jump up. They're going to jump up over PlayStation because I think PlayStation is over Xbox right now. As far as moving technology wise, we talked this a little bit before we started this podcast. First Xbox, you can only play CDs, um, and right after that, PlayStation 2 was out and you
Yep.
could play DVDs on there. 360 came out, you could play DVDs, but PlayStation 3 was out and you could play Blu-rays. Now they both have Blu-ray players, so you know what's next? I think Microsoft, if they wanted to be a game changer, would move in the way of Steam, Valve, uh, and they don't. I don't think they. I don't think to make money they need to make a system. I think they can totally drop the console. Um, Now you have to think, well, that's about $500 that they're going to lose out every however many years they
Hmm.
release a system. And my idea to that is not necessarily. Microsoft has its own stores. If Microsoft wants to move into not having a console and having people upgrade their computers to put in a new graphics card, they can fairly do that very easily. If you've ever exchanged your graphics card on a computer, it's very simple. The computers are very much plug and play. Um, take parts out of the motherboard, put new parts in. As long as you're compatible, you're good. Um, so maybe they do something where they start figuring out the technology to up the graphics and still make it compatible with people who may have at the time a little bit older computer. Also, if you're not selling a $500 system, that leaves the companies who make the games a lot more area to release more games because you're saying you bought what, maybe two or three games with each of your systems.
Yeah.
So if you didn't have to buy a system, well, there's all that money that you could go spend on whatever games they release, whatever titles they have, and usually at the launch of something they have a bunch. Maybe even I'm sure I know Xbox they had was it the arcade that you could buy like the other weirder games like that you didn't have a disc for, but you could just buy them out the
Oh,
market.
digital downloads.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
you
Xbox Live Arcades,
so
the
so I mean
older
they could
ones.
yeah they could push business a lot of different ways that I think that they could make up their money by not having a console. Um, I mean that's just my thought. I mean, like I said, I moved into computer gaming. The reason I moved into computer gaming is on graphics alone. I'm a graphics whore, and it's it's not a bad thing. It's when I see Skyrim on 360 compared to PC, I'm almost like it's a totally different world, and I'm like, well, I don't want to play it on the 360. Like I really don't. I kind of want to get it for PC, but then I'm starting all over again for a third time. Um, and I'm just
Yeah.
like it's just the graphic. I mean the new systems they have decent graphics, but I mean that stuff moves so fast that even in 4 years, those graphics are going to look like crap compared to whatever they have going on at the time. As soon as I bought my graphics card, which is a Sapphire, uh, within a month and a half, they released a brand new one that that is that's it's like twice as good as the one I have. And not that I probably would have spent the extra money on it, but that's just an example of it, it was that quick that I didn't even know they were coming out with this, and it was like, oh yeah, we got this new one here, we're dropping this, and it's two times better than the one that you just bought. Um, but I don't know. That would be my thought. I would think that we would maybe start moving away from having to buy an actual console, or um, you know, the reason I like Steam is that I like that they're it's being more out there for the gamer, and if companies want to release things to PC, um, they have the ability to do that. So there's no reason that just because um, give me something that's a PlayStation exclusive. Uh,
Last of Us.
okay, uh, say they make a two or a three or whatever. There's no reason that they can't release The Last of Us two or three if they do it um, to PC. It was the same thing that originally happened with Halo. Um,
Hmm.
Halo's on, the original Halo was on Xbox. It was also on PC. You had a lot of people modding it on PC and stuff like that. Um, so I mean, it just gives people another avenue. I think you have a lot more people that'll buy a lot more games. I don't know. That's my thought on Microsoft. If they want to change things up, not that Sony couldn't. I just think that if I still think Microsoft's a little bit behind, and I think the fact that um, I use Windows. What do you use? Yeah,
Windows or Apple.
yeah. Um, so I mean, pretty much everybody, unless you're a total Mac head, you have Windows, or if you are a total Mac head, you have the capability of having Windows. Um, I don't know. Any thoughts?
Uh, yeah, that's a good idea, but they're coming out with the Steam that was that Steam box that they're
Yeah, the
saying.
Valve box or the
Yeah,
Steam
the Valve
machine.
box. Yeah, they're coming out with that. But like we were saying earlier, um, at the tail end of PlayStation 3, like I said, Heavy Rain, Last of Us, and Beyond Two Souls, they could technically be, uh, I guess, next gen or current gen now games on the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One. It's I would like to think that Sony gives their developers free reign to do whatever they want because Sony always comes out with different innovative games, and Microsoft goes for Call of Duty to for lack of a better term.
Yeah,
You know, they were like, hey, we're gonna go out and you can make whatever you want. Look at Naughty Dog. Look at Uncharted. Um, Look at it's which wasn't really not Uncharted, but Infamous and Infamous 2, which weren't really like spectacular looking games. But um, when it comes to like PlayStation had the power to do what it did at the tail end of it. Imagine if they went in full steam ahead with making games like Heavy Rain, um, Last of Us, Uncharted, Beyond Two Souls, and stuff like that. Games that look so good on previous generation, and they just tweak them to look really good on this generation. But I see what you're talking about, like like ditch the console and make everything like you know digital.
I mean everybody has
Do it like that.
computer.
Yeah, everybody has a computer.
Um,
And pretty much all you really have to do is you can to get a not saying to get a good gaming computer. Um, what I say, you can get a good gaming computer, something that lets you play you something. Because all I really play on like some emulators, a lot of the older stuff. That I could play on my laptop. But my wife's a big sim head,
mhm.
so I gotta have a good computer that runs Sim. So
Yeah,
she like when Sims 4 come out, best believe there'll be some videos on us playing Sims 4 because that's supposed to be have some online multiplayer stuff.
hmm
So I'm just gonna go in her house and burn her house down all the time. So,
Now,
but yeah,
now,
it's a good idea.
I mean, my main thing behind it is I'm really behind things like Steam, and if we could just get a sponsorship from Humble Bundle. I mean, I said their name enough tonight. But I mean, honestly, you can't beat it. You get like if you get in on the beginning on the first wave, you're getting like 6 games because they'll offer you 4 or 5, and then they usually tack on another 1 or 2 by the time you're done, whether it be some DLC or an actual um, other game. But I mean, you're getting that many games for. I got it for under $5 for like
Yeah.
$4.46. I got the older Batmans, both those spheres. There was a Lord of the Rings game that came with that, and Scribble Knots. So for $4, I got 6 games, and um, you know, the thing I like about them is they want to put things back into the gamers' hands and the developers' hands. I, like we said, like exclusives. Like you have to buy both systems because you have
Yeah.
exclusives. Well, let's
Hmm.
not have the exclusives, or you know what? Have exclusives for people that want to use consoles, and people that don't, just let them play the freaking games with the upped graphics that they can do. You know, I mean, I'm sure in I'm sure in a little while the even the graphics on the new systems are going to wear out, and then you're going to have better graphics on a computer. So again, someone like me who saw the difference between Skyrim 360 and PC, I mean, you're going to have that the same thing with any other game. So I mean, if you're a graphics whore, I guess that's why I was looking at it because I'm a graphics whore, and I was like, it'd be nice. I'd like Microsoft. They want to integrate everything. So I mean, they got their all the commercials now you see from Microsoft are, oh, we have tablets and we have phones and we have your computer and we're pretty much running your life and uh, if you're a gamer, well, might as well jump on that ship too. I mean, eventually, I would hope it
Yeah.
happens. If it does, if it doesn't, I don't know.
Yeah,
Um,
they're getting there, but I think they're just not. They're just not with like I
I
say
don't
it's
think they can make
all
it
in the hand
profitable enough
of
right now. I think
yeah.
for them to
Right
make
now,
it
no.
profitable enough, they have to really get a team in there and say, this is how it's going to work. This is how we're going to make up that back end of not having a console. This is what we need to do. Like I said, they have Microsoft stores. I would think that they could open some more and do some stuff in those stores to make that work. But,
Yeah.
you know,
They just gotta let the reins go on the developers. That's the problem. That's the main problem. Like people will, work for years on developing a game, you know, and then have it shot down because you don't think it will sell or you won't think
yeah.
it'll reach a certain audience or anything else like that. You gotta let you just like Little Big Planet, like what's that modern molecule?
Hmm.
Like whoever thought of that game and whoever passed on that game is kicking themselves. Like
Yep,
whoever
they're
thought
fired.
about that game, they're geniuses. And whoever passed on that game, they got walking papers,
Yep.
stuff like that. So it's like whoever passed on Uncharted got their walking papers, It's like I think it's all depends if Sony lets their developers give them free reign to do whatever they want, and Microsoft is like, well, what's going to make us money?
Yeah.
And that's how I look at the whole
And,
console market right now.
and I'll tell you
Like
the thing
Nintendo
that I
still
think,
makes fun stuff.
yep, I'll tell you the thing with Microsoft that I think is really going to uh, the thing I don't think anybody else has had. And if you can think of something, what is it? Prove me wrong.
So, well, yeah, if
Um,
you think of anything, prove me wrong.
if anybody else can tell me anything, but I don't know of any other company that has had reigns of another, uh, let's like a game developer, they've had to let go because the developer was pretty much outperformed their needs. And where I'm going with this, and I think the last thing we'll touch on is going to be Bungie and Destiny. Um,
Yeah.
it, I mean, Microsoft had Bungie right under the wing. Like, you're making us Halo games. You're doing it. You're doing it. We're gonna back you. We're gonna do that. And then Bungie started making their own money, and they're like, well, we wanted like our whole thing was we like creating things and we like creating new things. And doing
Hmm.
this one thing isn't what we want our whole company to be. Um, and I think it was it earlier last. Well, I forget the date. I had the date here somewhere. Um, when they didn't completely sever their ties, but they severed ties enough that Microsoft holds still a little bit of a sharehold, um, and that's probably why they're going to get the exclusivity to Destiny.
De- Destiny. Yeah.
Um, but also already everybody. I mean, I'll go in and I'll check the forums once in a while. So far on the forums, everything that I'm seeing is please Bungie drop this onto PC because this looks amazing and PC gamers are going to want it. I agree. I
Hmm.
don't know if they don't that yeah, I'm not going to lie. I'll go pick up an Xbox One because I really like Bungie and I really liked what they did. And when this last Halo came out, which was by 343, I think. Um, the story took a weird turn. I'll be honest. I don't even know that I'm really into. I don't even know if I'm going to be into Halo anymore. Besides playing with my friends online, I was always into the story and doing that. But I don't know if I'm going to be into it anymore because this last story, I don't know, it didn't grab me enough. Where usually I got the game and within like a week and a half, I'd plowed through it. And this one, I've had it since we're going on a year now. I got it last Christmas, and I may be in the third or fourth level. Well,
Hmm.
what I'll consider a level, because I kind of group some load screens together to make one level. But what I consider a level, I'd probably say I'm only, and I'm not even halfway through the game. We'll put it that way. Um, I might not even be a quarter of the way into the game. I'm just not grasped enough where I'm like, I gotta beat this sucker out and like get it done, and I won't feel satisfied until I'm done. And I just
Yeah.
haven't had that with that game. So let's talk Destiny real quick, and then we're gonna jump off because I think we're running into 2 hours here already. If
Oh,
we haven't already.
yeah, probably.
So
I just looked up Destiny. I just rocked the
yep,
wiki on Destiny, and
yep,
they still have it as coming out on PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox 360, and Xbox One.
yeah.
Um, I know at the PlayStation 4 launch in New York,
Mm-hmm.
Destiny was they did like like a little teaser trailer of Destiny still
Mm-hmm.
for PlayStation 4 at least. So I don't know. We
So
still maybe a
that'd be
shot for
good.
it to get on PC.
That'd be good. I mean, I think
Yeah.
either way, it's not up to. I don't know how much Microsoft has their hands in there. I don't think all that much. Um, but it'll ultimately be up to Bungie um, if they're going to release it to PC or not. It's not going to be up to anybody else, and I think they will. Um, just because I don't think they have an option to. They have a lot of people. I mean, even if you go on and play the old Halo on there. There's so many mods and stuff that people have. There's medieval
Yeah.
Halo where you don't even have guns, you got swords and crossbows, and there's
Yeah.
futuristic Halo. Like, I mean, you got so many options for modding, and a lot of that stuff was. I don't know if Bungie really cares about it all that much. I would find it flattering if someone was taking my game and they're not really making money off of it. They're just changing it. But there's a whole bunch of things with people with the modded 360s. I mean, how many people lost accounts over having modded 360s? I don't know about yourself. I've been in two modded games, and I was invited there by someone I was playing with for a while,
Mm.
and I was in there as their guest. Well, once the person who invited them, the party host, invited them was like, "Oh, who's that? Oh no, he's cool. He's with me. No, I don't know him." Click, and I was out of it. Um, just because people didn't want to be caught and shoved off their live accounts, and I don't know if it went as far as shoving them off their Microsoft accounts, but um, you know,
Nah, they can't. They don't do that much. They normally just. I know somebody. I got a 3 day. What's that? 3 day ban or 3 day hold on my thing for. That was a long time ago though. But that was because it kind of got to an argument, and that's when I started coming up with the term internet thugs. It's
Mhm.
because we was playing these guys, and like we were getting them. It was like what was that? We was playing Rainbow Six, and it was about it was like 40 to like 7, and they were like, oh, you're you're just hiding out, you're using this, you're using that, and but we were just using pistols in that game, so we were just like killing them. I remember it too because we were on some hotel board on one of the Rainbow Sixes, and like we were just like running through doors, pop, hit them with the Eagles. That was it. But yeah, man, there's so much that they can do. But if they ban an account, they normally get it back. They normally ban the IP for
Hmm.
a couple of days or anything else like that. But normally you'll get it back within like a month or up to 3 months, I think.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. Have you checked out much on Destiny? Are
Yeah,
you
I'm
are you are you
actually
are you
on
psyched
one
up
of.
for it or?
Yeah, I actually want it. Like I this will probably be the my last MMO that I invest time in
Mhm.
because before I played like Final Fantasy 11 and I invested about 2-3 years in that game, which was pretty damn fun. But this Destiny's gonna be pretty good. It's a shooter. With what different planets, and you're going around like
Yeah.
you're pretty much going around like trying to save your planet, but you got to go to other planets and kill stuff. There's like what 5 to 6 different types of enemies. Um, you like I think you get your own ship, but you can't fly it. That's one thing I heard. Find out. Um, there's still no word on it coming to PC yet, but I think it's still coming to the consoles. Actually, I subscribe to this. It's like Destiny News.
Mhm.
It's on YouTube. It's one of somebody that I'm following. And they're pretty good. They're pretty knowledgeable. They grab all the information, break it down for me. So I don't have time to like sit and look.
Yeah.
So normally like each week they post up a new video, stuff like that. But looks fun. It kind of reminds me of Borderlands where you can get like all the different guns, all the different mods, and just keep going on.
Borderlands 2?
Just keep going around searching and hunting stuff.
Did you play Borderlands 2? Since you brought
No,
it up.
not yet.
I just
Not yet.
I got a little bit into it. I never played the first one.
Hmm.
I jumped in on the second one, and I am really liking it. But that's enough
Yeah,
on that.
Borderlands is a great game. I played the first one. I
I
played the
like
first one.
yeah, I like the art, and like it's fun. It's something fun, something
Yeah.
different. I gotta give my brain the graphics cool down once in a while. Give it. I see things too clear and things are looking too real. I overload, and I'm just like, I gotta get back to cartoons, and that's just the nerd side of me where I'm like, cartoons and video games, and well, somebody spoiled it for me, but apparently I don't want to spoil it for you. But if you didn't know, wrestling is fake. But
Oh yeah, I know that.
yeah, well,
It's still funny though. It's still fun.
but so we're gonna. I think James and I are gonna. What we're probably gonna do off of this podcast is, I think we're gonna try to throw something together in order of a podcast. We want to try to keep them on as part of the main podcast as often as possible.
Yep,
Like
yep.
I said, Kevin wasn't in tonight because of internet problems, which I think we all had. You had to restart your computer. I got here and internet was down.
I
That's
couldn't hear
why
you.
yeah. Well, that was my microphone. That was a whole other issue. When I first got here, I couldn't get my internet going for about 30 minutes or so. Um, and so we were a little bit late starting tonight. But I think what the main plan is we're this podcast, when we start getting everybody together, is we're going to focus on everything from the site, and then we're going to have little offshoots tomorrow, I believe, or pretty soon. I
Mm.
think I'm starting another podcast, which is going to be uh, two of my cousins and I used to watch horror movies constantly, whether they were good or bad. Cheesy horror movies, they're one of my favorite things in the world. They're almost like comedy to me.
Yeah.
So we're going to actually go back and we're going to revisit a bunch of those old movies, and we're going to kind of do reviews on what we liked about them. We're going to throw a little horror movie news in there. You know, uh, that's something else we're going to do, but I think I would also like to do just kind of like a gaming news and what we've been doing in gaming. Just because, like I said, once we start sectioning out this podcast, it's not like we can spend 2 hours on gaming and then another
Yeah.
2 hours on comics and um, another 2 hours on tech. We'll have a 6 hour podcast. And then by that time, we're just doing a podcast marathon.
Yep.
So we're going to section things off a little bit. We're going to try to reel things in, get a few more things going for the site. Like we said, you want to tell them where to find you?
Yep. You can find me at on Twitter at a different nerd. You can find me on YouTube at a different nerd. Pretty much. If I say anything wrong, prove me wrong.
All
Hit me
right.
in the comments.
Check them out. Click subscribe.
Yep. Subscribe.
Helps
Share, like,
him,
subscribe.
helps him, helps us out in the long run, and we're gonna get this thing going. So I'm Brandon, and we will catch you later.
All right, y'all. Peace.